It's Jack Skane! He brings the pain, and on the ball he's real tame.
Oh my
It's
God,
Jack
bro.
Skane! He
Hell
brings
no,
the
man.
pain, and on the ball he's real. Jack? 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 So when I was doing research for this interview, I actually came across an interview with Speed Freaks where you were called Jack Skahan at least 10 million times. As someone else who's had his name completely butchered his whole life, when did you just start to accept it?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I've got an older sister and a younger brother, and when we were in school, it was constant. I mean, no one knew how to say our name, so we got pretty used to it pretty quick, to be honest.
And when and how did you go from John to Jack?
I was never called John, so like legally I'm John, but no one calls me John. Like my parents, my grandparents, no one really calls me John. So it was always Jack as the nickname, which doesn't really make any sense, but it does at the same time.
I know you're an NBA fan, more specifically LeBron, or your hometown Memphis Grizzlies, who are actually known for Memphis grind and grit. How has this Memphis grind and grit really affected your soccer play, or has it affected it at all?
Maybe. I mean, I think that's like the fabric of Memphis, like where I'm from, is grit and grind and like blue collar work, and everyone gets after it, and you enjoy the work. You don't just enjoy like the lights or the red carpet, so to speak. Like you enjoy getting down and doing the work, and so that's just like part of where I'm from, 100%.
Well, speaking of more NBA, and this is kind of a fun question. In the NBA, they really talk about the welcome to my league moment, where you've gone from being the man your whole life to first play in the league, you get posterized. Do you have like a welcome to the league moment you kind of remember?
Yeah. So it would probably be like my first one that I experienced was my first preseason. We were doing like a one-on-one drill. It's a big goal. It was a pretty big field. And I tried to get past Flo. I think I got past Flo. And as I'm running right by him, I just get a fist to the side of my face. And I don't think he meant to do it, but it was like he also probably did not mean to do it.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And that's where I was like, okay, you know, this stuff might happen. You just gotta get used to it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So while at college, you actually would make some semi-pro appearances. I found an article written by NPSL. It's talking about a head-to-head matchup between Knoxville Force and then your team, Memphis FC, and the winner got to have the second seed and a home game for the playoff. The line reads, "The only goal of the half came in the 44th minute from John Skane. He made a move around his Force defender and scored for Memphis FC." Maybe in a little bit more detail than the article, can you explain how it compares to score an important goal for your hometown's top team versus scoring an important goal for your first professional team, whether that be in the Open Cup or the equalizer you had versus Toronto?
Yeah, so that was my senior year of high school, actually.
Oh, okay, wow.
Before I went into, it was just doing it for like in the summer before I went to college right then. I mean, yeah, that was cool, but it doesn't compare to the golden MLS.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Because you're doing that, you're like playing in that league with the intention of getting to the MLS, you know? And so that's the purpose of that. And then getting to the MLS and scoring is like, wow, I did it.
What was better, the Open Cup goals or the equalizer versus Toronto?
It's Toronto.
Yeah. All right. I enjoyed that one as well. So you were a regular starter for the University of Carolina, who actually had the best AAC record in 2016, 2017, and 2018, including an AAC finals appearance in 18. How do you deal with the transition from being a key piece on a successful team to being maybe someone who hasn't been given much of a chance on a team that's been struggling in recent years, like the Earthquakes?
It's the ACC, by the way.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're good. But it's a transition. I mean, I came to the league knowing it was going to happen, like that I wasn't going to be a shoot-in starter. I mean, 100%. I went into my rookie year just thinking first of all, let's make the team. We did that, check. Second of all, let's just get better and, you know, listen to Matthias and his assistants and the older guys on the team and just get better. So that's what I've been trying to do really since I've been here, is just become as good as I can be, to the point where I do get the real chance to really get out there and try to get my name in the starting sheet. I'm ready. Mm-hmm. And so it's a difficult transition at first because you're not used to it, but at the same time, it's all about perspective. So if your thought process is, well, I want to play every game, like I'm really pissed off every game, well, then you're going to be pissed off and you're not going to like it. But if your thought process is, I'm just trying to get as good as I can so that when I get the chance, I'm ready, then it's like, well, it's not a speed bump. This is just the way it is. Keep getting better. That's
a great mindset to have. How did you end up living with JT and Jax?
My rookie year, I lived with Tanner, and then these guys are moving out from where they lived and were looking for a house, and they asked me if I wanted to join, and I was like, sure, why not? I get along with them really well. Honestly, all the guys on the team get along. And so when they asked, I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
And you just said, Tanner, I hate living with you.
Well, he was going to live with his girlfriend.
Okay.
They're engaged, so it worked out.
Okay. Are there any rules you've had to make so far, as like what happens at practice stays at practice?
I think that's like understood in terms of everyone on the team. Like anything that happens at practice in the locker room, like, you know, anything that you have to think about whether or not you should say it to someone else, you just don't. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of understood.
Yeah. So during practices and scrimmages, really, I assume you've been more so with the reserve team with your career at San Jose so far. And one of the people you probably have to mark is roommate Jackson Ewell. So how do you balance that line of like, I need to lay this guy's ass out so I can start, and I also need to ride home?
Yeah, that's a good point, because sometimes I actually do ride home with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the part that I try to focus on is just like being the best player I can be, and not really trying to worry about who's on the other side, or like not my focal point isn't I try not to let it be the person on the other side, but more of like, I need to play well. So when I'm playing it, I don't really think about whether or not it's my roommate, or if it's another guy in the starting lineup who I might be defending at the time. Like I just play and try to play my best.
Was there any
Oh, sorry. So like that part doesn't really come to mind too much during the game.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's a job at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Was there any teasing after his Open Cup penalty miss?
No, we won, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
I think everyone was more happy for Matt at that point as well.
Yeah, 100%. That was sweet.
As mentioned earlier, as a teenager, you were playing semi-professional. And now we're seeing 15 and 16-year-olds sign professional contracts for the Earthquakes. In your time between when you were growing up in Memphis to now playing in San Jose, how have you seen the evolution of soccer change?
It's wild. It's happened so fast. I think that it had to happen. Like it has to continue to grow and evolve in America if we're going to be one of the best countries, because we absolutely have the opportunity to. And the growth of the USL too, I think, is really important. The MLS and USL academies are the ones who are going to create players, and the MLS academies are often in these huge markets, which is great because there's so many kids to play. But for me, the evolution of these USL clubs, creating these academies that are actually signing kids to the first team, and kids have opportunities to go to Europe from there or the MLS from there, which, I mean, it's happening more and more. For me, that's super, super important, because I wasn't from a market that would have ever had an MLS team. But now they have a USL team. So in my mind, it's like, well, I could have developed in that academy as a kid, and had a probably a better development experience and like an opportunity to practice with the first team. And so I think that the USL development in the academy is going to be huge to just get all these kids who aren't in these big markets, because there's so much talent out there. So I think it's pretty, I mean, like Nico, for example, like he's in such a great place right now. He's 16. He's in the first team. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, that's some great insight. Yeah, no one ever really talks about the USL growth. It's usually just like look at the MLS and who we're signing with these big names.
Exactly, but there are so many talented kids who aren't from a big market.
So a big complaint from the players has been all these added cup games and added tournaments when they already have such a busy, whether it be international schedule or just league schedule. But as someone who's seen the vast majority of his minutes so far through these cup games and tournaments, how do you feel about the addition of the games?
I love them. I mean, it gives me such an opportunity to play. It gives a lot of people an opportunity to play. But also I just want to compete, like a cup tournament, like the Open Cup, the tournament, and it's a knockout tournament. And that's fun. I think anyone who likes to compete loves a knockout tournament because you have a chance to win it. And so for me, I think it's awesome. I understand that people are playing a lot of games, and especially if you're the national team guys are playing a lot and traveling a lot, and I get that. But at the same time, you can't take cup games and tournaments away because there's just so much opportunity in it.
Completely agree. I mean, we saw Matt got his first cap in 5 years. So yeah, it's a really big opportunity for some of the guys. So one thing people may not know about professional athletes is the away game boredom. And really the highlight of that away game boredom might be one 20-minute walk you get with the team outside the hotel. What do you do to deal with the away game boredom?
I try to walk around the city. Like the day we land, we're normally there in the afternoon. I try to walk around, maybe grab coffee with some of the guys. Just walk around the city and check it out because just sitting in my room for 2 straight days would put me in a bad mood, to be honest. So I try to get out as much as I can and at least just walk around.
Do you use that Xbox at all still, or still just collecting dust?
Not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I graduated from it.
Okay, cool. Did you sell it, or it's just?
I stole it actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I was playing it a lot in COVID, and then once life got back to normal, I just didn't ever play. And so I was like, it's time to get rid of it. But some guys bring like a PS5 or Xbox on the trips, and like, I'll go play sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not any good, but I'll play.
Yeah.
So last year you were actually part of the infamous Cruz Azul's scrap, where a pitch invader went on, and it went from let's protect the players really quickly to we need to protect this fan from Wando killing him. Have you seen a transition from Wando the player to Wando the coach, or is that fire exactly the same?
There's like a bit of a difference. Well, first of all, that entire incident was wild. It took him down so fast, but there's a bit of a difference just because he's on the coaching staff and he's not. It's just not exactly the same, but he's still the same guy. 100% is the same guy, but he's not. It's a little different. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. So now I'm going to move to a little quick fire question. These are just really fun questions. Just first thing that pops into your mind really quickly. So people say that professional athletes or actors and actresses, they're just not equipped for real life. If you, JT, and Jax were stranded on a desert island, who's most and least likely to survive?
I think the least likely to survive is JT. Of the 3. Yeah. I would put myself up there as being able to survive everything.
On game day, who are you looking at for best drip, and who are you looking to laugh at because they think they have the best drip?
That's just probably Jackson. And the worst, but they think they have the best, Christian.
Espinoza?
Yeah.
Yeah. He likes those tight jeans.
He likes tight pants.
Yeah.
What are you shooting on golf right now?
Like 90s.
Have you found a good barbecue spot yet?
Yeah, one in San Francisco. Apparently there are a couple in San Jose I need to try, but I haven't. I can't remember the one in the name of San Francisco, but it's on the Visadero. It's really good.
What's the best and worst away game city?
I really like the LAFC trip. We stay in Santa Monica. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The worst one is, I don't know. They're all pretty cool. I think they're all cool.
Yeah, there's not one though where it's like it's gonna be -40 and you're just like, all right, this is gonna be a rough 2 days.
Well, that's true. If you're in like Minnesota early in the year, like for sure. Philadelphia, and it was snowing. It's like, yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So I know you're a country fan, more specifically Morgan Wallen. I'm gonna name some Morgan Wallen songs, and you just tell me which teammate that like pops into your head first or that represents best. All right, Wasted on You.
Hey,
Wasted on you.
Whiskey Glasses.
Jackson.
Pour me another drink.
Sand in My Boots.
Shay.
And that sky looks perfect.
More Than My Hometown.
Me.
I love you more than a California.
Chasing You.
JT.
I'm chasing that feeling that got gone.
And then what's your favorite Morgan Wallen song?
Maybe Santa Monica.
Sand in My Boots, okay. So I found a video from 2012. It was at an ID camp of like these US talents, and Christian Pulisic is actually one of the people that was listed there. And it's of these US guys beating Barcelona's academy at their academy training grounds. It was a 3-1 win, and you're listed as being there, but you're one of the few people that apparently didn't get an interview. Can you confirm or deny if you actually were there?
I was there.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, we were young. We were super young. But it was a really, really cool experience for me. That was like the first time my eyes really opened to like the world of soccer and how big it is. And those guys at Barcelona were really good. Christian was like unbelievable, even at that time. But yeah, it was awesome.
You've been interviewed dozens of times. I'm sure you've been asked the same thing many, many times. Is there anything you've ever wanted to be asked, or is there something you just wanted people to know about San Jose this year?
I'll just say I think that we're a really, really good team. There was a lot of quality and a lot of talent, I think more than a lot of people realize. And within the next, I think through the end of this year, potentially next year, we're going to be a really, really good team in the West.
I completely agree with that, yeah. And then my final question for you, and this is the most important one, I think. Each Earthquakes player has had to choose a charity or cause they wanted to support this season. You chose Martha's Kitchen, Feeding the Hungry with Dignity. Can you explain how you got involved in it, what it is, and how people can help?
Yeah, so to be honest, early in the year, we were given like a list of different groups we could get involved with, and that one just caught my eye because, to be honest with you, in San Jose, when you drive around a lot more than I've ever experienced in my life, back home or at school, there's just a lot of homeless, and it's affected this part of California pretty heavily, I think. And oftentimes these people are just in situations where it's just tough, and it's not exactly always their fault. And I think it's important to just try the best to help people get food, because at the end of the day, it's just a basic piece that a lot of people can help with. A lot of people can help a lot of people out with that. And, you don't want it to go overload.
Thank you everyone so much for listening, and thank you Jack Skahan for taking the time to let me interview him. Anyone who wants to go donate to Martha's Kitchen, Feeding the Hungry with Dignity, or learn more about it, or learn how they can help, can go to the top of the description where there'll be a link to their website.